debt management. I'm gonna talk about how it works, some of the pros and the cons to it, and then what are my thoughts as a debt collector if I'm collecting a person who's dealing with a debt management company. So stay tuned. My name is Jay, and welcome to Ask a Debt Collector, a subsidiary of Clear and Strategic. Now, I've been in the debt collection industry for over 15 years. I've done it all, from management to owning 2 debt collection companies. Over the last 10 years, I've been the go-to guy for friends and family for questions regarding debt and credit. Now I want to be that person for you. Let's go. So let's start out with debt management and a definition that I'll actually read to you. Debt management is a way to get your debt under control through financial planning and budgeting. The goal of a debt management plan is to use these strategies to help you lower your current debt and move towards eliminating it completely. Now, let's talk about how it works. A debt management plan, otherwise known as a DMP, is a method of repaying outstanding unsecured debt. Unsecured debt means any debt not tiered to real property like mortgages or car loans. It helps you manage that situation. So you have 7 credit cards. Those 7 credit cards are maxed out. A lot of Americans have been there. Even myself, I've been there. And depending on how high the balance is and how the interest rate works, you may have 7 different payment plans. And your payment on those each month, just making the bare minimum payment, can run you, anywhere from $7,000 to $2,000 depending on your credit balances on those cards. Let's say suppose you're paying like $1,000 a month on 7 different credit cards and you're trying to manage that. And as we all know, each one of those credit cards, the pay dates are going to be different. So throughout the course of your month, you're paying, $200 here, $300 here, $400 there, and so on and so forth. And it becomes pretty hard. So where the debt management company comes in is basically they get all that under control. They contact your creditors. They let them know, hey, Jay, in this instance myself, he is underwater with regards to payments in general. What we're going to do is we're going to try and get all of his debt together, and they actually set it up to where you can make a one-time payment once a month, where you're probably paying, let's say, $600 a month to that debt management company, and then in return, that debt management company takes that money and disperses it to all 7 of those credit cards that you actually owe. So let's talk about some of the pros with regards to dealing with debt management. Like I stated, it'll take a lot of stress off of you with regards to paying, all those different credit cards to different creditors, where you're only making one payment, you're only sending it directly to that company, and that company is dispersing and handling your situation. When creditors contact you, you can let them know like, hey, I'm dealing with the debt management company, and you can send them to that information. So it'll take some stress off in that aspect. Now let's talk about some of the cons. So once you hire a debt management company, creditors don't have to agree. So just because you hire this debt management company, and let's say they contact Capital One and they're like, hey, I know that our client was paying you $300 a month, paying the minimum amount on his credit card of $10,000. He's paying you $300 a month, and things are becoming tough. And so now, they hired us, and now they're going to be able to afford to pay you $100 a month. Are creditors going to listen to that when they were getting $300? Well, it depends. If you were behind on payments, or if you missed a lot of payments or whatnot, sometimes creditors will accept something over nothing, right? But in the long haul, they can say, nah, you know what? We don't want to accept your $100. Sometimes it'd be $50 or $25. We don't want to accept that. And they can still come after you for the full amount. It doesn't stop you from being sued or any of those types of things. Those are some of the cons of that. Now, let me give you my opinion as a debt collector. So you got to understand, it's a debt management company. So if you're paying them, let's say, $500 a month for the next 10 years or whatever the circumstance is, out of that $500, not only do they divvy it up in the case that we were talking about of those 7 creditors, they have to get paid. So they take a piece of that money. And so a lot of times what I find happens with consumers, and this is not everyone, but a lot of the people that I've dealt with who've dealt with debt management companies, they'll be paying their payment to them, and then eventually they'll default. Something will happen and they can't pay it. They'll miss one payment or whatever the circumstance is. And then not only do you owe all the creditors, but sometimes you end up owing that debt management company. Your stuff hasn't gone to collections. It hasn't been charged off profit and loss. It's still with the original creditors. And so it's a way to, obviously get that debt under control, and you're still making those payments, and that debt management company will help you with regards to that. It's not something that I recommend, but it is an option out there for some of you guys that do that. Now, if you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. And as always, you guys be great.